Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of KISS. I'm Kevin Coleman, Executive Director for Bellingham Sea Feast, and I'm here with Steve Seymour. Steve Seymour is co-owner of Drayton Harbor Oysters, and if you haven't been up there, it's up in Blaine. They have their own oyster farm. They have their own restaurant. They're a staple to Blaine. They're a staple to our community. And today, Steve is going to be making some different variations of oysters, right?
That's it. Today it's Oyster Day.
It's Oyster Day.
Perfect food.
And remind me, you used to be a fish biologist, correct?
I spent most of my career in salmon culture, raising salmon, then into salmon habitat restoration. Then I retired and got involved in shellfish. Been kind of dabbling in shellfish since the 80s with a couple people. Jeff Menzies, one of them that stands out, my old partner, who really is the hero in our whole story. But yeah, got in, and now I'm partnered with my youngest son, Mark, and we have a 30-acre lease up in Drayton Harbor, one of the most amazing bays that I've got to know. And as Kevin said, we've got this little restaurant that's just become, it's a tiger by the tail.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very busy. We got like 35 employees.
Wow.
Most of them are young folks. Some of them have, most of them, when they come aboard, have no experience in any of this. So it's a training ground for young people to learn, well, not only to how to shuck and cook an oyster, but to just how to work as an employee. Yeah, we're just blessed. We have this beautiful venue, a beautiful site, beautiful bay. We spend our day, not so much me anymore, but my son, he's out on the bay every day, farming, you know, what we call the oyster, right?
Right.
And Drayton Harbor, I started farming up there in the 80s. And I was, at that point, I was also working for the Lummi Indian tribe at that time, running their whole aquaculture program when we were farming in Lummi Bay. And Lummi Bay would grow an oyster, but it wouldn't grow anything like this.
Yeah.
And when I started seeing these oysters coming out of Drayton Harbor, I thought, wow, what is going on? I mean, you notice the nice deep cup.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you look for in a delectable oyster, is a nice deep cup, because that represents really a nice piece of oyster meat.
Right.
And so many bays, they'll just get long and skinny and flat. And then they have to condition. So there's got to be the right combination of food and plankton and water temperature and exchange. You also have to have clean water, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And Drayton Harbor has its whole story of bay being downgraded, closed, putting us initially out of business, being reopened after a huge community effort. And today, you know, we're blessed to be able to farm oysters in that same lease that I've had since the 1980s. And we're the only oyster farmer in Drayton Harbor. There's a lot of oyster production down here in Samish Bay with Taylor and Penn Cove and those folks. But up north, we are it. And we're right at the border. And again, we're just blessed.
Yeah.
So today, what we want to talk about, so many people in a restaurant come in and go, they look at an oyster and they go, okay.
Right.
I know there's something in there.
How do I get to it?
How do you get into it?
Right.
So today, I thought we'd spend a little time on just how you can open oysters. So today we're going to spend some time with various ways.
Okay.
Most people have heard you can always just take an oyster and put it on a grill.
Yep.
And let it steam open. So we're just going to take a couple of these guys and kind of get them started here. When you put them on the grill, you want to kind of try to put them cup side down, you know, because think of this as a little bowl, and all the juices and everything are sitting in this dish.
Yeah.
What an awesome animal, right? It comes with its own plate.
Right?
I mean, my gosh. So anyway, we're going to put a couple on here to kind of, so at home, if you got a barbecue, and you can do the same thing with a broiler at home. Just put them on a pan, put them in a broiler that's all of 300, 350 degrees. Another thing you could try is basically just put them on a frying pan on the stove. Again, we're just going to warm this oyster up. In this case, he's just going to steam. We're just trying to relax that muscle, right?
Right.
Okay, so now that guy, he's just going to steam away. But then At a restaurant, we found that we open everything.
Right.
And because we find that this guy has a little abductor muscle that sits right here.
Adductor muscle.
Abductor muscle.
Okay.
The muscle holds the shell closed. And when you put them on a grill or in a pan, you know, they're slowly heated up. The oyster senses that. And again, these guys are alive. And they start really like, oh, man, this is getting warm. And that muscle gets contracted.
Okay.
And you'll find that on these two methods, that muscle's going to be, it's good, but it's going to be chewy. So it'll give you, you'll be chewing it, and you're just, okay, chew, 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 chew. It's not bad, but we found that we like to keep the muscle tender, and by doing that, we open them. Now, so we're going to teach you how to open an oyster.
Okay.
Have you opened oysters before?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, you darn.
I know. Surprisingly, I've never opened an oyster. I've seen people do it.
Well,
but yeah.
so there's lots of tools. I mean, look at this assortment of oyster knives, right? You got this guy that's like a Dexter. We sell these at our restaurant. These are actually a nice copycat of the Dexter knife. You can get them on Amazon. Then there's these guys, a little bit different. You see all kind of different blades. This little guy was created by a world famous oyster opener who held the world champion.
Wow.
I don't really like it. It's just, you know, it's like anything else. You kind of find your own technique.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, at our store, we got 35 employees, and those kids have never opened an oyster, so it is fun to see these kids challenge themselves. Some get better than others. So anyway, at our shop, we've kind of gone to this guy.
Okay.
And I'll show you why in a minute. And get these at Amazon. I don't want to put a big plug in, but for $19, you get 2 knives and a glove.
Yeah.
What a deal. And we use these every day. This is kind of what we like about it is the thin blade. And I'll show you why. Because where we've landed, now a lot of times you'll hear people talk about opening the oyster from the hinge right here, right? And that works okay on the little oysters that we serve in the half shell.
Yeah.
Because the hinges are pretty soft. On these guys, we've gone to opening everything from the side.
Okay.
That's the reason for the thin blade, right? Because it slips in there easier. If you open them from the hinge, a big old stout knife, you know, where you're crunching down there and there, you know, and now you're in there, and then you basically twist, and then, you know, cut. Again, I'm cutting the abductor muscle here. Look in there and there. So we've opened that guy. From the side with the little knife.
Yeah.
What you look for, Kevin, is this. You got the top shell and the bottom shell, right? And so there's that little margin. And oftentimes in the summer you'll see a little bit of new growth. So that's going to be right there. And again, never hold it in your hand. I don't want to see people doing this because I'll tell you what'll happen.
You'll stab yourself.
Put it right through. So put it on something, and then I like to use my thumb to kind of guide it. So it's just kind of like pushing down, finding that little sweet spot. Okay. Anyway, so we're in there now. And again, the abductor muscle is going to be right there.
Okay.
Again, so here's the abductor muscle. Can you see it right here?
Yep.
So that was attached to the top shell. Okay, so now it's just a matter of slicing the muscle, and then I tip it up, and I'll trim that muscle off. Okay. Now again, here's the abductor muscle, and now it's also attached to the bottom shell, right? You want to get rid of the little shell fragments. And so you'll take your knife, and then you'll free up him from the bottom. Okay?
Okay.
And if you're serving him raw, typically, we'll just flip it over. Whoop. So you get a little nicer presentation. So again, at the store, this is what we do for all our oysters that we serve. We open them first. You know, if you say, well, I don't have an oyster knife. Well, you know, look around your kitchen cabinet and find anything that's got a thin blade.
Okay.
Just be careful. I got this little
chicken knife, and I
Yeah.
found that little sweet spot again,
Yep.
right? And you'll notice I'm pushing in, but I'm also pushing down because I'm trying to find that new growth. And so now there I am. I'm in there, and when you're doing this, rather than prying down, if you twist your knife, it's kind of acts like a nice little lever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then there we go. Now, guess who's up?
Me.
We'll see if you've been paying attention.
I've been trying to pay attention, and that's absolutely beautiful. Okay.
Okay, so you can use this knife, this oyster. This is going to be, there's your spot, right?
I see it.
You see it right there?
Uh-huh.
And again, this knife has a sharp edge and a dull edge, and so you're going to be cutting that muscle. But I like to rest my thumb.
So you have some.
Well, it's mostly nice and stable, and that way if I slip, I'm not going to, if you get back here like this and you're starting to, without any, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, let's watch Kevin.
Okay.
Okay, now,
So we're going to do this, but realizing that I'm left-handed, right?
yeah, I just realized that. So this is be good.
Okay. Well, let's
Okay,
go ahead.
here we go.
Give it a try here.
Yeah. Okay, you're in there. Now you just kind of,
I think I got it.
yeah, now just use your knife to twist and,
Yeah.
twist it right up, then look in there and,
Yep.
there you go, look at this. You've opened oysters before.
No, I haven't. But I got,
Yeah, you want to scrape that off.
Yep.
It's all good stuff.
and then we want to scoop this
yeah,
at the
you want
bottom.
to cut the bottom shell.
And then,
Just flip up this presentation. Now, if you're going to cook the oysters,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. But
there
if
we
you're-
go.
If you're serving them raw,
seriously, that's my first time ever doing it.
well, honestly,
Yeah,
you would
honest to
have
God.
fooled me.
Well, maybe I should come work for you.
Okay.
How about that?
Here, let's try it blindfolded now.
Oh, that's fun. Yay. Okay, cool.
All right. So now we got the oysters open, and we've got
Mm-hmm.
these guys that are, they've been steaming away here.
Yeah, let's go to the other
So
side.
now we're going to check these guys. And I'm guessing they're probably,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can kind of see how they're bubbling along the fringe here a little bit. Well, that's kind of means they're about ready to open. But now, of course, these are hot oysters, so we're going to set them aside here and let them cool a little bit. Grill is hot, so we've kept that hot.
Okay.
So, now up at our shop, we have, gosh, at any one time we might have oysters with 5 or 6 different toppings. Our old standby, the one that we started with back in 2013 when we had the barbecue out on the sidewalk, was one we call savory. And that's the old standby. That's like Parmesan cheese, right? And butter, which we've added a little bit of garlic to. We've
Yeah.
melted it down. So for this guy, so we're going to make one of our old standbys. Butter, and then we're going to put a little Parmesan.
And there's herbs in the Parmesan as well?
No, there it is. There's a little bit of parsley mixed
Okay.
into it, and then a cheap white wine, just a dribble. You want to cook these guys with moisture around them if you can. They just get really better that way. So that's one. Another one that's really an old standby for us, and it's not our recipe, but it's a mixture of chipotle peppers, bourbon or whiskey,
Yeah.
butter, and brown sugar. And then it's all kind of blended together, and it makes a nice, wonderful topping
Yeah.
that is really a nice flavor. Another one that we've kind of created, actually my son and our manager, it's called Bacon Blue, and it's basically just blue cheese and bacon.
Yes.
So we pre-cook the bacon and then add just blue cheese to it. Weird as it
I'm
sounds.
salivating. Okay. Yes. No, it sounds delicious. Yeah. I'm seriously salivating. So yes.
Oh, you're salivating.
Yes, I am. It's just
But anyway,
yeah.
this one is funny because you wouldn't think so, but it is really a nice one. And then
Yeah.
for those who are more of the purists, the other one we serve is we call it just simple, right? So it's butter and garlic and lemon
Okay.
juice. So there's just that same old butter garlic mix. And then, you know, a little bit of lemon juice. And then you can just kind of put the lemon
rinds,
on there.
yeah.
And you might want to, you know, garnish a little bit with something. So that's kind of a combination. So if you went to our place, you could have a choice. Okay, so we're gonna stick these on the grill. You know, they ask you how hot of the grill. I don't know. You want to cook these guys probably for 10 minutes or so. They cook pretty quick.
Okay. So maybe like around 350?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a temperature thing on it, now I got this set at high.
Okay.
You don't want to overcook them. You just
Right.
need to keep an eye on them. And when they get kind of, you want them to bubble. We'll see how they look like. So now we're going to go back to these little gems that we preheated to see if they open easier. Kind of, yeah. See how easy that opens? So they've just steamed open, and they're pretty much probably, I'd say,
look at there.
pretty much cooked. I mean, you could enjoy that guy right now with just a little lemon on it. I mean, that is a beautiful.
That is a beautiful oyster right there.
Isn't that
Look at
gorgeous? So that was the one that was on the pan, and just steamed there for a little bit.
Now, at your restaurant, you also have like iced Tabasco and some shaved ice
Well,
with
for
different stuff.
the raw oysters,
Yeah.
we do what's called a mignonnaise, and oh, that's gorgeous, man. Isn't that pretty? So you can see by pre-cooking like this how easy and nice they open.
Yeah.
And these guys are all done. I mean, you
Oh,
can
they're big.
eat that perfect.
Oh, my
right?
gosh.
Yeah. Oh, that does
is-
make me hungry.
Right.
Now I'm salivating. Now this guy is an example of something that's a little bit overcooked.
Okay.
You can
Yes.
see how that kind of got. So again, you can't totally walk away from them. So that kind of got contrasts, you know.
Yeah,
those two,
absolutely.
right? Still edible,
Well, yeah, of course it's still edible. It's just a little bit of,
you know.
a little overly done.
So now, if you wanted to, you could take it to this level and
Put a little garlic and
put a little
butter.
butter on it and treat it just like we did the other ones, right?
Looky there.
And then put it back on your grill just to kind of melt the cheese. Oh, look at those guys, man.
Yeah, that's some
Aren't they looking good? What an animal. What a
Right?
meal, right? I think these guys we're gonna cut in half here. Again, these guys, this is just the pan fried one, right?
Yep.
We're gonna show because you're gonna sample that guy and you're gonna find, you know, the chewy muscle. And then we got another one on. Now these guys, let's see. Oh boy. Whew, aren't they pretty?
They're gorgeous.
So we'll take these off. Now this is, if I remember right, this is the one that was pre-cooked. So
Yep.
that's going to be the chewy muscle. Right here, this is the one that we pre-cooked and then we dressed it. So it's beautiful. But I think Kevin's going to find that the muscle is chewy,
Okay.
which is fine. It's just, it's compared to the other ones, you'll find it's different.
Okay.
So here we got the sweet and savory, or sweet and spicy. And this is our famous old savory. That's the butter, garlic, Parmesan cheese, and white wine.
Yep.
Here's just the one with just lemon and butter. Can't beat that.
Nope.
Here's our old famous bacon and blue. Now you'll notice, Kevin, that sometimes you get little pieces of shell during the cooking process. So before you serve them, you want to kind of
Just make sure all those little things are
just
out
get
there.
rid of the little guys. And then this is the one that we pre-cooked and then we dressed. So, I mean, that is a pretty looking,
That's a gorgeous looking plate right
I
there.
mean, this elevates this lonely mollusk to
Something
five-star.
grandiose. Yeah,
Oh, what the
absolutely.
heck?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
Yeah.
This is the one that we just did nothing to. Mm-hmm. That's a half dozen oysters, isn't that beautiful?
Right?
Oh. Good French bread, or like Anna's bread.
Yeah.
At the restaurant, we serve this beautiful sourdough focaccia. It's lovely. And then a nice glass of wine.
Absolutely.
My goodness.
Absolutely.
Set to go.
Okay.
So let's try this guy first.
Okay.
I want you to have the mussel piece. I don't know. That might be it. I think I cut the mussel right in half. So there you
Okay.
go.
Let's try that.
You got the mussel.
I did.
Hey, there's just a little bit of wine left.
Let's have it.
Man, I mean, what the heck? $2 chuck. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
No, it really doesn't.
It's not enough to even go back to the shop.
Oh, see, I see where you're at now. Yep. Done.
Done.
Done. Recycled.
Here we go.
Salud.
Toast.
Nothing quite goes just as delicious with wine, oysters, and just good company.
Yeah, look at these.
I know. Okay,
So,
let's dive in.
which one are you going to take?
I have a hankering for this
Go
blue
for
cheese.
it.
Okay.
I'm going to try the one that we, again, pre-cooked.
Okay.
And
Here I go.
might be hot.
Maybe a little warm.
Oh, look at that. Oh, and the juice is what's...
Oh my God. That is good. That blue cheese with the Oh my gosh. That doesn't get any better, people. I'm just telling you. That just doesn't get any better. That blue cheese with the bacon is to die for.
You should try what's my favorite up there? Lime and something. Oh, Adam keeps creating these.
Yeah.
This week I had a bunch of plums. So he made a red plum butter. And that's what's on all these oysters now.
Well, you know,
it's just fun.
and that's the thing of it is you can add all these different
Yeah.
flavors and stuff, but the pure taste of the oyster doesn't go away.
Yeah,
It's still there.
it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that was very
Yeah.
good.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
Hey, everybody. This has been Kevin Coleman with Steve Seymour from Drayton Harbor Oysters for another episode of KISS, Keep It Simple Seafood. I want to thank the Port of Bellingham. I also want to thank BECU as well as Alaska Gold Seafood and the Community Food Co-op for allowing us to film here. And this has been another amazing episode. I've learned something. I could take away something from this. And I appreciate you and I appreciate what you do for our community. Thank you so much, Steve.
Well, Kevin, for all our first oyster growers, I'd like to present you with your own oyster knife. So,
Thank
have
you.
at it, young man.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Absolutely. Until
been
next
fun.
time, we'll see you soon.
It's been very fun.